Very nice. Very nice. All right. So we still got Kesley on the inside. Good morning and welcome back, Kesley. Good morning, Mr. Cambridge. How you doing? You
Thank
good?
you. Thank you.
You good?
I
This
cool. I
was
cool.
okay. So it's not too much. It's not too heavy this morning. Talking about men's issues and so on. No, because
Nah.
you're a guy. You can handle this. You can handle this. Well
Yeah.
done. All right. So there's a voice note that I'd like to play before we get to men's health, and you're gonna talk about physical health. Well, you've spoken about mental health already. So it's going to be
Yeah.
physical, right? Okay. So
Yeah.
let me just throw this out before we go to that.
Good morning, Crystal.
Morning.
Very interesting conversation, and I appreciate the gentleman for raising the issues. But I think we're fighting an uphill battle
Okay. Whew, thought you was going to
because
say
we have
Lindsay.
removed the center of home, which is God. When we do not regard His words, our society would slip further and further into decay.
Mhm.
Men by themselves will not be able to sustain this. God is the center, and He instruct a man to love a woman. If you love someone, you would look out for the best interest of that person. There's neither he or she, it's us in the relationship.
Mhm.
And until we can get back to that point, this will never be solved. Because we grew up in a world, I'm older, and we had no counselors. We had none of these problems. Very little, I should say. Now they're escalating. Everybody is wearing their feelings on their shoulder. They're too soft and timid. Scripture dictates what a man should do and what a woman should do. And without a father in the home, we're going to have more and more of this. And if there's a father and he's dysfunctional in the house and not leading, this will never be solved. We can keep trying, but as we can see globally, that men, so much of the problem that they encounter is because they did not have a dad in their home. And the mothers are the one who are raising most of the young men today. And that is a recipe for disaster. Thank you for your great topic as usual. Have a lovely day.
Thank you so much. Kesley, you want to comment on anything
All
for
right.
that?
Yeah. Definitely.
Hmm.
He is right, and I really should have made mention of that. That we need to have the spiritual aspect there. God needs to be in the mix of everything. God should be the center. He's the first and foremost being, supreme being that we should really consult everything. I wouldn't say necessarily that it's a recipe for disaster for mothers who raise boys, because there are mothers who have raised boys who have come out to be respectable men in the community, who have come out to be very, who have come out to be role models. But what
Yes.
I would say though, that is there you can never replace a father in the home. So although a mother would raise a child, a father's love can never be replicated by that of a mother's love. A mother's love and a father's love, two different types of love. So, yes, I would definitely say that there needs to be fathers who own up to their roles, who understand that their roles in the home are extremely important and should act accordingly. But a mother's love, as I said before, and a father's love, two different types of love, and a mother cannot replicate the love of a father. I would say that.
Okay. Thank you. Now, I want to move on to something that you wanted to leave a little bit with us before you wrapped up, right? Men,
Yeah,
is it men and overall health or men and sexual health?
I would say the overall health would include sexual health, because when you're
Okay.
talking about men's health, mental, physical, sexual, everything.
Okay. All right. So take it away.
Right. So, what this is just maybe a continuation from last year's conversation concerning men's sexual reproductive health. And what we're finding, I mean, you could look at the statistics, and I know doctors would agree that when it comes to cancers, prostate cancers, that you find a lot of men succumbing to prostate cancers because of late detection by doctors. Now, when it comes to the man's manhood, men are very touchy when it comes to that. So I don't really want everybody to be in my business.
It
If I,
depends on
if
the
down
guy.
the ain't working too proper, if down there working too proper, I don't need to broadcast that to all Tom, Dick, and Harry. No pun intended.
Take
Now
out,
the thing about it is
give it to
that
Tom and Harry.
the thing about it is that we, as men, we need to understand that our health, our sexual health,
Mhm.
is very important. And I know that a lot of men would have been alive today if they had taken their health seriously. Now, I know that there's this whole misconception when it comes to the prostate exam. And I know from speaking to a doctor that the format in which the exam has been done for years, it has changed now, and you can check for prostate issues through the blood. Because I know that a lot of men say they don't want to go and get a prostate exam because they want the doctor put on a glove and stick his finger up in their butt. That is what a lot of men say. Me ain't doing that. Is one way traffic. I ain't about that life. And I totally understand, and I would agree. That's a one way traffic situation. But
Mm.
some we have to come to that place where we have to put these things aside, and if you want to prolong your life in a way that you want to spend time with your family, you have to be able to get checkups. Doing regular checkups is something that needs to be done. And I know that one of my colleagues, Miss Thomas, wants to partner with me in getting some forums that deals with, the prostate cancers and men's sexual health. I know that some men, they boast about their sexual partners, how many partners they have,
Hmm.
how many, what is their body count is what is usually said. If you have
Oh,
a high body count,
okay, okay.
he's a real man.
This
But
is
at the
news.
same
This is
time,
news.
it's news, about that crystal cover,
Body count?
body
No,
count and thing here.
no.
So the thing
Don't
about
body.
it is that in doing this, you are jeopardizing your health, because there are a lot of STIs, STDs out there that are being transmitted from female to female, and even from female to male, and all these different type of things. And you have to be very mindful and aware of all these things. One partner, there's nothing wrong with having one partner. Nothing wrong. It does not make you less of a man if you are committed to one woman. And I think that can be one of the contributory factors that cause men to, as I said, one of the contributory factors that cause men to want to have multiple partners, because it makes you more of a man. Only one woman you have? Serious? And so much woman out there, so much lonely women in the world, and you only have one woman? These are some of the things that I said. And men go about and they have a jolly good time. And this can jeopardize their sexual health and stuff like that. And I must share as well that there are instances, and I'm going to be very cautious with how I say this, because I don't want it to have any sort of major thing. There are instances where men not only have sexual partners who are female, but they have sexual partners who are male as well. And they
Mm-hmm.
bring those diseases into the home, especially if the man is married and has a family and he sleeps around with other men. There's where you have problems arising as well. So you have to, as I said, I am not discriminating against anybody, but you have to be able to check out your manhood. Check up and see how the soldiers are marching. See what's going on down there until it's too late. And then you find yourself on a deathbed saying, I wish I coulda, woulda, shoulda. That is what it gets to. But you have to be able to see what's happening down there, make sure everything is working well, make sure the pipes are working well, the
No
tap is
clogs.
running smoothly, no clogs, no leaks, anything like that, to
No
make sure that
leak.
you, yeah, you want to, make sure that everything is working. And I mean, I know it can be a sensitive topic for some men because, as I said, men don't like to go to the doctors at all. Getting a man to go to a doctor is like trying to pull teeth.
Mm.
So,
Getting
I
a
mean,
man to
I
take
myself,
medication.
I recently had to go to the doctor, and I mean, I was so uncomfortable because you sit down and the doctor, then your heart start to beat fast, 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 and pressure start to raise and all these things.
Really
But
though.
it is for your own health.
Right.
You have to make sure that everything is functioning well, and that's a conversation that we need to have as well. Men's sexual health is something because I know that there are different organizations that deal with the cancers, the ovarian cancer and all these different things for women, and excellent work being done. But we definitely need to have that conversation when it comes to men and their sexual health.
Hmm. Okay, so all of that would include physical,
Physical,
mental health.
yes.
What is the other type of health there is? Spiritual health?
Sexual,
Sexual. Oh,
well,
right.
definitely spiritual
Okay.
as well, because as was mentioned by the caller earlier, that we need. I think that men need to get back to that place where they communicate with God, have a real personal relationship with God. Don't wait until you know that thing's going downhill and then you're scrambling to say, "Oh Lord, forgive me." Start now, because once you put God in the mix, you would start to see all other things start to fall in line. You're able to deal with issues better. You're able to find comfort in everything that you do once you keep God in the mix. I just want to stick in here briefly something that I was talking about earlier, um, with regards to highlighting the good works of men. I would have spoken to, I would have done some work with Reverend Adolph Davis, excellent brother there. And we would have done some work with men in the prisons, right? Because we have to be able to understand men as well. So, although these men are in the prison, we don't want to just close the door and forget about them. We need to have a conversation to understand, to ensure that we don't, have recidivism rates increasing. But one of the things that he reminded me, I spoke about it briefly, but he reminded me, is that we need to start highlighting some of the heroes. I spoke about unsung heroes who are men. We need to highlight some of the heroes who might not jump into their fancy cars, who might not wear suits or ties and dress nicely, but there are some men who are on the block who would have been instrumental in encouraging other men. Men who are farmers, men who are on the blocks playing football, barbers, all of these men out there, even men who clean up the streets, they have provided some positive influence on somebody's life, and we need to do it. So yes, Crystal, although I'm here talking, there are some things that some of these other men would know and would be able to reach persons that I, with all the limited knowledge I would say that I have, I can't reach. So we definitely need to find ways, and I commend Extreme FM and you for having these conversations, but it would be even more beneficial if we are to see that ordinary man on the street, that layman that we want to see, bring him on, let him have a conversation so it can reach further, further, and further.
I love that. And thank you so much. I think after our discussion here, we're gonna have a lot more talks. All right. So at this time, for real, we're gonna say thank you for joining us. Thank you for highlighting some of the problems that men go through on a day-to-day basis. And it is my hope that with time, more and more men will begin to open up to share how they feel about certain things, not only with their partners, but with other people who are around them. It is my hope as well that, we work actively towards building support systems around our men, because you mentioned that you would have had a little trouble with choosing your major
Yeah,
in university at
yeah,
university, and you kind of question
yeah,
yourself: is this masculine? Is this too feminine? Where am I going? What am I doing? What is going on here?
yes,
And you mentioned that you had a support system, and I think that we
yes.
really need that. We really need that for our men today and our boys. All right. So thank you so much
Agreed.
again. All the very best,
Thank you
and
for
we will
having
connect
me.
again. No problem.
Yes, thank you,
All
Crystal.
right.
Take care.
All right. All right. Bye bye.